Welcome to the Intelligent Ignorance Podcast with my man R. Hunter over that way. I keep pointing over there. Things mirrored, and myself, Jay Chris, Mr. J Watson Radio Man. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, all that good stuff at J Watson Radio Man, and follow him at R. Hunter because that's who he is.
That,
Also, make sure you subscribe to the New Twist Radio YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/New Twist Radio, and you will catch every episode of Intelligent Ignorance there. Not only that, you'll catch some of the other shows that air here on New Twist Radio, as in the 10-7 show, the Check Swing podcast, naming
all
their Mount Rushmore. More to come. But, all the shows that come on New Twist Radio right there. R. What's
right
going on,
there.
man? It's been a couple weeks. I know we said we're going to be more consistent, and we have technically
Yeah.
been more consistent. We have to get more consistenter, but until that happens, we're more consistent now. But how you been, man?
Man, I can't complain, man. I've been blessed. It's been a amazing few weeks. I've been so busy with, coaching the kids for baseball, prepping the launch of my fitness app, Hardcore Unicorns, which has just launched on iOS devices and Android devices. So it's been super busy, but it's been a blessing, man. An absolute blessing.
Awesome. Congratulations on that, man, and all the best to you with that. I hope everything works out better than you had hoped it will work out. I guarantee you that. That's my hope for you. And you said you start off by saying you're blessed, and from what I know, being blessed is a good thing. So congratulations on that as well.
No. Yeah.
So you probably know better than me. Like once we start doing these shows, the outside world I'll be forgetting about. Like I forget what's going on. I focus on what's going on here. But the youngin just had her her volleyball season just ended, and they lost in the playoffs. But let me tell you one thing. This team went from a bunch of girls on the team that never played volleyball before to starting to look like an actual volleyball team by the end of the season. So shout out to the coach. What an amazing job he did with those young ladies. And, hopefully they continue to grow and work together and become an even better team. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with come next season if they keep working out. Also been coaching baseball, doing private lessons and all that good stuff. Coaching, my high school team, trying to get that program back running. And just New Twist Radio stuff too. Just doing a lot of stuff with New Twist Radio. I got a little bit more time on my hands now. So, this is the time, as the last couple of years, this is the time where I start getting getting into the kick for the next year. So, that's kind of what I'm looking at next year, getting a head start on 2022. And I can't wait to 2022 gets here and see what 2022 holds for New Twist Radio and for us and Hardcore Unicorns too, and all that good stuff. Block Suite, all that good stuff. All of that.
Man, I'm excited. I can't wait.
So we got a lot of things to talk about today. We're going to be talking about could Officer Derek Chauvin, could he be released early? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about we got to put a little Donald Trump in there a little bit. We got something to say about Donald Trump. Also Ben Simmons, there's been the talk of Philadelphia, the whole Ben Simmons thing. I had my 80-some-odd-year-old neighbor across the street. She was talking to me about Ben Simmons a couple of days ago, talking about what is wrong with him. So, everybody's talking about Ben Simmons, and of course, tragedy on the set of Alec Baldwin's movie Rust, and we'll be talking about that. I know that hits a certain spot for you as being on many movie sets and working on many movie sets. I know it hits a little different for you seeing that happen. So quite a few things to talk about, but I think we're going to start it off with a big dummy, right?
Man, let's start with this big dummy, man.
Let's start off with this big dummy. So let's let the song. That's my Bugs Bunny dance.
I said Ben Simmons was the big dummy of the year, but somehow this big dummy always finds his way back to the big dummy spotlight.
Yeah,
Always.
I think he enjoys it. I think he enjoys being on the Big Dummy Award here, New Twist Radio here on Intelligent Ignorance, which the Big Dummy has become a staple of New Twist Radio. It's we started back on the New Twist show way back when, and
Way
it
back
seems
then.
like anytime we just feel like it now, New Twist Radio, somebody can be the Big Dummy. That's why I've got music for it now. But your Big Dummy is who?
Former President Donald J. Trump
You
on
know they're really not
his.
supposed to say that.
I know, but
That's I'm not saying don't say it. I'm just saying, did you know like they're really not supposed to say former unless they were like removed from office.
I did not know that
Yeah,
because
I mean
once you're
they can refer to him as former, but once you're a president, like you're always referred to as president. Like Obama will always be referred to as President Obama. But
but I
once,
think
like, let's say Nixon got removed instead of resigned, he would no longer be referred to as President Nixon.
but I think since we're talking about his current actions, it's
Oh, it worked. I'm fine with it. You do your
to
thing. I
because
just
we
put that
say
out there,
former president because we don't want people to mistake one that he's still in some type of political power because he is not,
which
and
some is a surprise to some people.
to some people, there's a 48% faction that still believes that he is in power. We'll put it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
But I just couldn't believe that in the death of Colin Powell, and rest in peace to our first black Secretary of Defense. Uh, we say for Donald Trump to say what he said, and I know you have it queued up. I want you to pull up his memo.
You ready for it
That,
now?
yeah, pull that up so we can let the people who may not have seen it already. Let's let the people see this nonsense that Donald Trump put out. And
So
you want to read it or you?
I'll go ahead and
Because
read it. It's a statement. It's a statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. And the statement reads as follows: "Wonderful to see Colin Powell, who made big mistakes on Iraq and famously so-called weapons of mass destruction, be treated in death so beautifully by the fake news media. Hope that happens to me someday. He was a classic rhino. If even that, always being the first to attack other Republicans. He made plenty of mistakes. But anyway, may he rest in peace." 45th President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump.
so when Donald J. Trump passes, which we know it is inevitable, we all people do.
Nobody gets out of this life alive.
I hope that he is treated with much more respect than he treats people in death. We saw what he did with John McCain. We saw what he just did with Colin Powell. Donald Trump, for lack of a better word, is an asshole. Uh, I can't believe to see somebody act like that in the immediate passing of an individual. I mean, give it some time. The casket hasn't even been put into the ground yet. Give it some time before you're a jerk. But
Right.
we know that this is what Donald Trump does. Another fact that came about from this is it was stated that Colin Powell had passed from complications with COVID, which should be another huge wake up call, especially for older individuals. Please make sure you are taking this serious. I'm no way, shape, or form telling anybody to go get a vaccine, but I am telling you, please take proper precautions. Treat it just like it was at the beginning of the pandemic. Wash your hands, wear your mask,
Should be
stay away
washing your
from
hands
people
any damn way.
unnecessarily. Take the precautions to protect yourself because this time of year, flu season, we obviously are still in a global pandemic. This is the time of year where more and more people are susceptible to getting ill. So
Mhm.
please make the necessary precautions to protect yourself.
Absolutely agreed with everything that is said there. Take the necessary precautions, as we do know. Colin Powell was fully vaccinated, but he also was dealing with with cancer. He had a cancer
Yeah.
that compromised his immune system, which puts those people with the compromised immune system at higher risk of being affected by COVID and other viruses and diseases as well, because your body cannot fight the infection, the disease, as well as it could if your immune system was not compromised for whatever the reason may
Right.
be. So, rest in peace to Colin Powell. Thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for being an inspiration to young black men and even black women in my generation. Growing up, we heard about Colin Powell. He was like the first black general of the United States military. Um, you are yourself a veteran, and
Yes.
you have a different perspective per se. I've never served. You have, so you have a different perspective of seeing a black man in that type of position. Being that you're basically an insider. But like I said, rest in peace to Colin Powell. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you for being an inspiration, and may you rest in peace. Now,
Amen.
now
Amen
that
to that eulogy, brother.
now that we've said all that, let's get on to some more business here. Where would you like to go from here? I mean, we got Ben
Oh,
Simmons. We got the. Go ahead, because it sounds like you just something just dawned on
it just, and I don't want to say it just popped in, but I know right now is the perfect time to kind of get it in here before I actually do forget. And that's part of the intelligent and the ignorance. Um, I want to give a huge shout out to my friend, my sister, Kyle Harris. And I know you remember meeting her at the Phillies game. Uh,
you. Oh yeah.
she just acquired another business. So this is her second business, right? It's her second business. She just acquired Paper Moon down in downtown Philly. It's actually right around the corner from where we used to record our shows. I'm not going to give
Oh
that
wow.
former studio any shine, and I'm not going to say the name of the location, but it's literally right around the corner. Paper Moon, make sure you follow them. Paper Moon Philly on Facebook and Paper Moon PHL on Instagram. Make sure you check them out. Go support black owned business, go support small business. It's an amazing new venture. You will see me getting more involved with Paper Moon very soon. Uh, and you may very well see New Twist Radio getting involved with Paper Moon. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but the potential is there. So
All
shout
I'm
out to
saying
Paper
is,
Moon
all I'm
PHL.
saying is, get them to sponsor a couple things over here. That's all I'm saying. Get to it. Get to it. I'm putting that on you. Get to it.
Well, like I said, we're gonna see what the future holds.
Get
But
to it. Get to it.
Paper Moon is a absolutely amazing business. If you need greeting cards, party supplies, anything like that, that is the place you want to go. Paper Moon PHL website should be up and running very soon. The business was a little older, but now it is coming into the 21st century. It's about to move into the 22nd century. We're going to make some futuristic moves over there with Kyle and her team. I can't wait to see what they put into place. But you know what? Let's talk about Ben Simmons. Let's talk about Ben.
Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons somehow avoided being the well, somehow is because of Donald Trump avoided being the big dummy of the day.
Again,
But now, so if you have been under a rock and don't know what's going on, Ben Simmons, the point guard of the Philadelphia 76ers,
a
uh,
player on the Sixers.
a
He's a
player,
player.
he's a player on the Philadelphia 76ers, has in the summertime basically informed the 76ers that he will not be playing with them ever again. That resulted in some suspensions and fines and all like that. And then all of a sudden, now that he's losing money, he shows up. He shows up, and that it is what it is. I'm not going to go through the whole timeline, but you can look it up if you want to. Most of the people already know, of course, especially if you're from this Philly tri-state area, you know about it.
If you're from around here, you know.
So, and most recently, he's informed the Sixers that he's not mentally ready to play yet.
Yeah.
I said, R. Dot, I've said to you on this show that I would not be surprised if he took that route. I said to you on this show when we talked about athletes' mental health, and this is not where we're going with it, but it needs to be said. I said to you, I hope athletes do not start using mental health as a cop out, and by that I mean they just say it so people will leave them alone about it,
Right.
not saying it because it's necessarily true, and the fact that we cannot necessarily determine whether or not it's true. So people kind of stay away from the mental health discussion when it comes to athletes and them talking about their mental health. That being said, it wasn't about mental health 2 months ago. No, no,
So
no. 2 months ago would be August. Yeah, it was like
uh,
July, August
yeah,
when it
June,
started.
July, August, the up until a week ago. But I do want to give Ben Simmons a little bit of an out. And here's how I'm going to do that because of the verbiage. So, by him saying he's mentally not prepared to play to the level that he expects, he's not saying that it's a mental health issue.
Right.
And I want people to be wary of, mental health is very serious.
Very
I
serious.
don't
Very
want
serious.
people to take that lightly. And I truly believe that his words were crafted very well in a way to kind of remove that. You don't want to say that it is a mental health issue, but by him saying that he's not mentally ready to play at the level that he expects, one, it sounds like he's putting out there, I'm not prepared for the level of pressure that the Philadelphia fans are going to bring to me. Because there's no doubt. And that's been the one thing that has been present from the jump.
Can I
Everybody
can I
was
say
saying that
something
everything that's going on. Yeah, go ahead.
just to add to your point in a sense? He informed the Sixers he's not mentally prepared to play.
Right.
Let's say he gets traded tomorrow to the Lakers. Will he all of a sudden be mentally prepared to play? Now I know you can't answer that, but out of
I mean,
Philadelphia, will
look,
he then be mentally prepared to play at the level that he expects to play? And what
I'm,
level is that? Because I know the fans expect you to play at a LeBron James, Michael Jordan level, and but you may be playing at a, I don't want to be disrespectful, but like a Kirk Heinrich level. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be disrespectful for Kirk Heinrich. I'm just that's the first name that came to mind. Kirk Heinrich had a decent career, so
but so interestingly enough, my question with his statement being mentally prepared to play at the level that he expects. What level do you expect to play at?
right, exactly,
Because there hasn't been a point in his career where he has played at the level that anyone in a basketball world has expected him to play at.
right, right.
So, and this goes back to LSU. This goes back to Australian national team.
Montrose
And
Christian.
again, when you look at the history of Ben Simmons, and I think I shared with you earlier in the week the 2016 pre draft report that literally spelled out everything that has gone on in the last 5 months. It was summed up 5 years ago. And it was saying that this had a huge potential of happening. And this is why Ben Simmons was not the consensus number one pick in that draft. So, I mean, obviously hindsight is 2020 for the casual, but for those in those circles that are charged with looking at these kind of reports, and I still defend the pick because it's a lot easier to have the expectation of being that LeBron James type player and not reaching that level than the Sixers having picked someone else and he does reach that potential.
Yeah, you have to make that selection because you don't want to be the team that
that pass. You don't want to be the Portland
that
Trailblazers.
passed on the what would have been the obvious thing.
You don't want to be the Portland Trailblazers. You don't want your pick to be Sam Bowie.
You don't want Portland Trailblazers did it twice. Think about that.
Greg
They passed
Oden.
up on Durant and they passed up on Michael Jordan. Think about that.
Two of the NBA's top 75 players in history.
Man. I lost my train of thought there because we started talking about this. You know, I love basketball, so the history of basketball. I started thinking about that stuff. But I don't know if I posed this question to you when we were talking yesterday. I know I posed this question to a couple people yesterday. Take away the entire pro career of Ben Simmons. He has not played. He's not dribbled the ball in a pro uniform yet. Right? Okay. Take away everything. Should he have been the number one pick in the draft? I'm not talking potential. I'm not talking about hindsight 2020. I'm talking about performance wise up until the point where it comes time to draft him.
I gotta see. It's hard to say because we know who else was drafted, and when you think about when you think about the number one pick in that draft class, you're obviously going with Ben Simmons. But when you look at the other individuals that came out of that class, I don't think at that point in time anybody really stood out as the number one except for B.I. And Brandon Ingram out of Duke was obviously one of the highlights of 2016. But even he didn't set himself that far apart from what was going on. So when you look at that class, you think of Brandon Ingram, Jaylen Brown, Buddy Hield, Jamal Murray.
Chris Dunn was highly
right. Who else? Thon Maker.
Thon Maker was a big name. Taurean Prince was a big name. Sabonis, because he played well in Gonzaga and his dad.
But none of those names in 2016, other than Brandon Ingram, stood out as somebody who can come in and immediately impact an NBA game.
Right.
I don't even think that Ben Simmons at that point was. You could say that 2016 was one of the weakest drafts in the last 20 years. I mean, there wasn't a consensus.
I can say that prior to the draft, prior to those guys playing.
I mean,
I can't say that.
When you look at those players now,
when you look at them now, it was pretty strong.
Right, it was strong decent, now. Yeah. But those players in 2016, when you're looking at that draft class, there's nobody that stood out. And again, I think the big talk was B.I. or Ben Simmons. Which one was number one? And at this point, if I'm Philly, I definitely would have. Hindsight, I definitely would have taken B.I.
Hindsight, I don't know if I would have taken him. We're talking hindsight, so we know what all has transpired, right?
Well, I mean, and I'm saying hindsight as the only two talks
out of the two,
one were Ingram and Ben Simmons.
I probably would have been disappointed with Brandon Ingram too.
I don't think,
but hindsight. I mean, he's coming into his own now. First time All-Star last year. He's coming into his own. But when you're in Philly, that's the problem with Philly. That's the one problem I will say about Philly is we want you to make an impact right away. We have a problem giving you time to grow.
Well, I think Brandon Ingram would have been better off had he not landed in a Kobe Bryant environment.
You're probably right. And on top of that, with LeBron James coming right after that.
Right. So there was no win for him at that point. There was no win for him.
I'm going to give you this situation. I'm going to answer my question. I'm going to say no, he was not worthy of a number one pick. And here's why. And you might be able to answer this question because I have not posed this question to you yet. Can you name a number one pick in the NBA draft that actually went to college that did not lead their team to the NCAA tournament?
No, because I don't think that there has been one.
I'm going to assume that that has not happened. Now, I don't remember who Anthony Bennett played for, so I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't remember. Anthony Bennett was like the surprise number one pick of the ages
But
because he was nobody's radar
but
and
I
became the number
know
one
for
pick.
a fact that I don't even know who he played for, but I can tell you he was in the NCAA tournament.
Let's see.
I want to
Let me
say he
see.
played for UNLV.
I think you might be right. So I'm gonna pull him up right now. This is what we do, y'all. On intelligent ignorance,
We gotta do the research here.
right? Because we didn't say we were going to be talking about.
Yep, he played for
Anthony.
UNLV.
Okay, and did UNLV make the tournament that year?
2012. I'm assuming that they did.
No,
Uh,
20. Oh wow, that's 2017.
because he was the number one pick 2013 by the Cavs.
Oh, 2013. Okay.
Yeah,
So that would be the 2013, 2012, 2013 season. Did UNLV Running Rebels make the tournament? I don't know. But even with that being said, whether they made the tournament or not, Ben Simmons came into that situation as a star already, knowing he was going to go to the league, knowing that he was more than likely going to be the number one pick in the draft.
UNLV lost in the second round that year.
So they made the tournament.
Yes,
They made
I
the
don't
tournament.
think I don't think there's been a number one in the modern draft era that did not make the tournament, and they
I want.
actually went to
I wonder if. I'm trying to think. There might have been like
the
a
only one
small
that I could
D.
think was because no, he wasn't even the number one pick. I was going to say Wiseman,
He wasn't the number one
but
pick.
he wasn't the number one pick.
Um,
He
I'm
was highly regarded as the number
what
one.
what number pick was he? Do you remember?
He was like three.
Okay, because I was going to say I'm not sure if there was a top five pick that has not made the tournament if they were at a major college basketball program. I mean, I'm not counting the HBCU programs and stuff like that where you have to win your conference to get in there.
And the foreigners, because like when you think about like a
Right,
Darko,
they're
you
not
know,
right. They're
Luca,
coming from
the
another
guys that are
league.
coming
Just
from
talking about
another.
the guys that were in American colleges. I don't know. I don't think so. That's something that we may have to look up. But yeah, I don't know if he was deserved of a number one pick, being that he in the results of his team they underachieved. Now somebody would say, well, he didn't have anything. He wasn't working with much, which
Well,
may be true because I don't know if there's
is
anybody else playing
it's
professional
not
ball.
true. And I don't know. And if you had a chance to look at that draft report, because that was one of the chief complaints, was you heard a lot of people saying, well, he didn't have the talent around him. That LSU roster had 6 top 100 players at the time,
Mhm.
6 top 100 players, and 2 more that were just outside of the top 100. So you had 8 players on that roster that were in the top 150 in the nation. You
So I mean, that sounds good. It sounds good. Um,
When you have 8 top 150 players and you lose to Tennessee, you lose to the College of Charleston. Those are
when you
games you should
but
not lose.
those are games you should not lose. But you also see now I'm gonna sound like an apologist. You also can't blame that strictly on one guy either.
You
Because if these guys are that good, then they should have collectively been better.
right, but when you look at teams who have that one guy, they go out and beat people,
Yeah, they do.
especially teams like College of Charleston. Like,
Yeah,
there's no excuse. Ben Simmons should be able to outscore College of Charleston by himself, and
not if
five
you ain't
guys in
shooting
a
jumpers.
and 5 guys in a pickup game.
If you just
Um,
putting them on, if you putting them on the foul line all day, no, you're not going. He's not going to outscore anybody.
but colleges don't do that.
He
Okay.
ain't going
And
to outscore anybody.
one, that wasn't his MO in college. But nonetheless, I don't defend him being a number one pick anyway. Ben Simmons is what he is. That entire report truly outlined everything that is happening right
Amazing,
now to a T.
amazing, ain't it?
And I mean, they literally said, what is he going to do when he hits that piece of adversity? Is he going to have his agent request a trade? Is he going to get the coach fired? It spelled out everything. It talked about his defensive lapses. It talked about his struggles to shoot the ball. And this is back in 2016.
Now, that's the one thing that I would probably have to say may not have been the most accurate.
What?
The defensive lapses.
No. So,
and only because I believe that's just something that he improved upon.
Did you read it?
I didn't read it. I didn't read the whole thing. But the only reason I'm saying it, only reason I'm saying that is because he has become one of the best defenders in the league.
So
and not to say that defensive lapses don't happen to them, because they happen to everybody. There are some people that just don't play defense at all. And then there's others that play defense that can have lapses or bad games.
I want you to go back and read it, because I really want you to see exactly what it says. And it talks about a lot about how his defense was the highlight of his LSU career, and the defensive numbers masked a lot of his actual defensive problems. Because one, he's playing point guard at 6'10". He's going to have more blocks and steals against guys who are 6'1", 6'2", 5'9", 5'11". He was a towering presence in that, but he also pulled a lot of fouls, and his ability to try to go after that highlight style defense, like the defensive play for a block or a steal, caused defensive mismatches because he was so risky as a defender.
And I can't argue with that. And you're talking about his college days. As a person that has watched almost every Sixers game over the last 4 or 5 years, almost everyone that I could, he has improved upon that, because he's not one to that was weird. He's not one to get into much foul trouble anymore.
I turned on the green screen thing and the bottle was green.
Okay, that's okay. That makes sense. It was weird, but if you didn't catch that, you can rewind it and see what happened. But he's improved on those defensive, because he guarded smaller guards and thrived, and he didn't get into a lot of foul trouble. He kind of shut down a Trey Young. You know what I mean? He gives fits to a Chris Paul. He gives fits to the guards of the world. I always get the name confused. LiAngelo, is it Jello, the one in Charlotte?
LaMelo?
No, LaMelo. It's LaMelo in Charlotte. Jello was also in Charlotte, but got cut. Yeah. Lamar. What's the one in Chicago?
LeVar.
No, that's Dad.
No.
Lonzo in Chicago. He gave him fits too. So he gives these guards fits, and has improved upon not fouling all the time, because it is what it is when you're a bigger guy and you got to guard smaller, quicker guys. Ben Simmons is also quick. He has the speed. So he learned how to use that talent, that skill set, to stay out of foul trouble. So defensive lapses in college, of course, I would expect it, but I feel like that is one part of his game that he did improve upon, was playing better defense. But from a lot of things that I've read, I didn't necessarily read the one that you sent me, but I think you posted one on Instagram. Check out his Instagram page. That's r.hunter. Make sure you check him out so you can see what I'm talking about. So a lot of that stuff was spot on. Some of the stuff that you have posted, it is what it is. I can't argue it. I can't defend the man. I've never been a defender of his, but I can't defend it. It is what it is. Like he likes.
And I feel like Ben Simmons was only in a lot of that conversation because he and Doc put it out there a lot that, he should be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, he was a candidate for, I guess, 2 years in a row, wasn't he?
No. Just the 1 year.
He wasn't candidate the year before?
Mm-mm. No, granted, his defense got better, but Rudy Gobert was hands down the best defensive player.
He was.
which, and I mean,
Probably.
the voting showed it. I mean, it wasn't even
Yeah, the voting
close.
showed it. That whole I don't like the fact that reporters vote. I don't. I don't like the fact that they vote for Hall of Fame. I don't like that because reporters can be fans. I don't like it. You know, fans vote for All Star games. Reporters can vote in all for All Star. I always believe the players and the league and even the coaches should be the ones making that vote.
I I don't know. I don't know
I know you can get the whole hating thing going on, but I just believe if you give the
because that
Sixers
happens.
a ballot that doesn't have Sixers on it, if you give the Bucks a ballot that doesn't have any Bucks on it, so you can't vote for your own team. You got to vote for somebody off of your team. I just feel
But
like that's the way it
what
should
if
go.
the guy on my team is the most deserving? Like I can't vote for Rudy Gobert. If I'm Spider,
If
I
he's the
can't vote
most,
for Rudy
if he's
Gobert.
no,
Like
he's on
that's
your team. He's your teammate. You're biased.
I, but I don't know if you can call that bias.
But okay, but let's say he doesn't like Rudy Gobert. Let's say he's never gotten over the whole COVID thing, and he doesn't like Rudy Gobert, and he's the most deserving, and he votes for Joel Embiid out of spite.
So, but he was going to vote for Joel Embiid either way because he wasn't
Well,
going to be allowed to vote for his
but that's what I'm
teammate.
saying. Let's say they can vote for
So
their
let's
teams.
say
Let's say
so
and
let's say
oh,
Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid don't like each other, which is obviously a reality.
and then they don't
Yeah.
vote for each other out of spite. That's what I'm saying. You cannot vote for your own team. You have to
But
be forced to vote for somebody
there would
that's
be
not
more
on your team.
teammates that vote for you out of proximity than those that don't vote for you out of spite. I mean, but
But that's what I'm saying because that's what I'm saying.
we gotta
It's
wait
like
till we was talking.
yeah, we did get away from, but that's what we do. Um, it's like I don't know. I know you can vote for yourself on thing, but I feel like the players should vote for seasonal awards, and I feel like Hall of Famers should vote for Hall of Famers. I don't feel like reporters should have those. You know, I just don't. I don't feel like vote. I've said it many times. I don't feel like there's anything that can that can change my stand on it. You know, I mean, if anything, maybe ownership, but reporters should
Look,
not have. If reporters did not have, Roger Clemens might be in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds would be in the Hall of Fame right now. To would have been in the Hall of Fame first ballot as he should have been. Okay, um, the list goes on and on. Reporters should not have. It shouldn't be in the hands of reporters.
but you know what? Some of my stance has started to change about that part of it. Um, just from and I'm damn it. See, here we go going down that rabbit hole because I was going to say something in effect to Hall of Fame because I had this conversation. Matter of fact, I didn't have the conversation. I wanted to have the conversation with you, just specifically, and I don't know if you remember what I had sent you the other day about Candace Parker's comments after she won the
No,
championship. Uh,
no, I don't remember that.
so, and it was funny because it was something that I brought up. Uh, I'm trying to think of when I even talked about it, but we were talking about the comments focused on results,
Mm.
and she specific. And I'm trying to think of what she exactly said.
Well, while you're thinking about that, speaking of Candace Parker and WNBA and the Chicago Sun, Phoenix Mercury, um, shout out to the Chicago Sun for one for winning the WNBA finals, right? But for number two, they put out one of the and I say meanness, I don't mean mean as in it was just mean, nasty, being a bully. But they trolled the hell out of Diana Taurasi. Did you hear what they did?
Yeah, they brought the door.
They bought the door to Tarazi. So allegedly, Tarazi was so mad and upset that she tore up some door in the arena where the Chicago Sky play, and they decided they were going to bring that door on the parade and the celebration and just have it displayed. Now they didn't mention it or anything like that, but they just had it displayed up there and trolling Diana Taurasi in a sense. You gonna tear up some of my stuff because you mad? Yeah, I might troll you too. I'm just saying that was the ultimate troll job. Shout out to them. That was so. That was funny.
If there was another, and they also got trolled, and I actually just sent it to you. You may hear it pop through on your phone. Um, During their victory parade. So the caption was the WNBA champs Chicago Sky are greeted by tens of fans during their victory parade.
Oh,
There literally had to be maybe about a dozen people in this picture.
that don't even look like. It's just like people are just going about their day. That doesn't even look like. Oh man.
But it goes to show, like, when you're when we're talking about sports and equality, it's such a huge disparity. Because if the Chicago Bulls won, there would be a day off in Chicago. They would line the streets. There wouldn't have been a 10-person procession
No, you're absolutely right. You're
to a
absolutely right.
victory.
I
So
mean, the fact of the matter is, these WNBA franchises, they lose money because of because they don't get the support
right,
of the men's league. If you are, that's why I don't have as many teams. I mean, you have to be willing to start a franchise, buy the franchise, whatever, however you go about owning it, knowing that you're going to lose money, and not a
yeah,
lot of people are willing to do that going into it. I mean,
it's a charity at this point. I mean, you're relatively giving away money.
yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean, those girls can really ball. Like they can really ball. The main issue is, and I will continuously say this: the women's game is not an above the rim game, and the men's game is. I believe that's what it comes down to. The men's game is not above the rim, and the women's game is. Excuse me,
Other way around.
vice versa. Yeah, vice versa. I'm sorry, I was reading a text message that just came in. But that being said, I'm sorry.
Enough about Ben Simmons, man.
Enough about that.
Let's talk about the situation in Minnesota.
Is that the okay? The Minnesota situation. So, if you were listening to the Friday Vibes morning show yesterday,
Yeah,
I spoke about the the situation in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where officer. Oh, let me see. Officer Muhammad. Did I shut it down? Oh no, here it is. Officer Muhammad Noor was being resentenced. His 12 and a half year prison sentence has been reduced to, what is it, 5 years. 12 and a half year sentence being reduced to 5 years. Now, if you don't know who Muhammad Noor is, Muhammad Noor was a he's a former Minneapolis police officer, just like Derek Chauvin. He was a Minneapolis police officer charged with the murder of, what was her name, Justine Damon, and he was sentenced to 12 and a half years in prison for that action. He was charged in shooting death, and the 12 and a half year sentence has been vacated, and he was reduced. He was resentenced for second degree manslaughter and sentenced to 5 years in prison. And so, with that being said, he was once scheduled to be released, originally scheduled to be released. I'm looking for it right now. I have it. I have his new release date. Um, I believe it was like
should be next year.
2030. It was 2030 something when he was scheduled to be released originally. Now he's scheduled. He's eligible for release in June of next year.
Right.
Um, so what does that mean for Derek Chauvin? Shouldn't mean anything, right? But there now is a precedent. There now is a
That's
precedent.
the key word right there. Legal precedent.
Now, what was Chauvin convicted of? He was convicted of murder. Will his? You want me to pop that? Oh no, that's me. That's my screen. Sorry.
I was about to say that's you.
He was convicted of murder, and I believe it was third degree murder that he was convicted of. Do you remember?
Third degree murder and second degree manslaughter.
Third degree murder and second degree manslaughter. So let's have a little comparison. Muhammad Noor was convicted of.
Oh no, that's what he got convicted of. I'm sorry, I thought that's what you were talking about.
Oh no, Chauvin was convicted of was a second degree or third degree murder. That's what we
Uh,
need to know. We gotta figure out what Chauvin was convicted of. We should have it right here. I had it right in front of
second
my face.
degree, second degree, third degree, and second degree manslaughter.
So he was convicted of all those things, and I believe what he got 10, 20 years.
22.
He got 22 years, and I believe he's eligible for parole in 10.
No, not at all.
No, no
There was
parole.
no
So
correct.
I'm getting all these. I'm getting these cases confused. I do a lot of reading of legal cases. Um. Anyway, that being said, can Chauvin be eligible for an early release? His if he has a good lawyer, which I thought his lawyer was decent. I thought he had a pretty good lawyer. It just didn't really have a case. He didn't have much to work with in his defense. Can his lawyer probably fight for a new not a new trial, but a resentencing or a reset of the charges?
At some
Maybe,
point.
maybe he might do that. They already said when the first happened that they were going to appeal the case, appeal the sentencing, and all like that. Um, but here's the thing: should Noor have been resentenced? If I remember correctly, he killed a young woman in an alleyway.
And
If
she was the one who called 911.
she was the one that called 911. So, well, that, we already know the cops don't care who called the cops. We know that they don't. Dave Chappelle told us that. If you didn't already know, Dave Chappelle let us know that the cops don't care who called the cops. Clifford. Um, so here's the story with Noor. On July 15, 2017, an Australian woman named Justine Damon called 911 to report a possible rape in her neighborhood. She said she believes she heard a woman being assaulted in an alley behind her home. Nora, who was one of the officers responding to the call, shot the woman after she approached the squad car in the alley while he and his partner were looking for clues and evidence of the reported rape.
They were looking for evidence inside the car. I mean, you know what? Never.
Listen, we had to go back to the whole case, but for comparison, on May 25th, 2020, Chauvin responded to a nonviolent report of George Floyd, using a counterfeit bill at a convenience store by employing a brutal knee constraint on the suspect's neck for nearly 9 minutes, killing him in the street while onlookers recorded the murder in broad daylight. On April 20th of this year, Chauvin was found guilty of second degree murder and third degree murder and second degree manslaughter. On June 25th of this year, Chauvin was sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison. So I'm not making excuses for either one of them, but it sounds like, just from the reading, I don't want to put a lot of thought into it, just from the reading, it sounds like in Noor's case, he reacted out of fear. We know that's not the case in Chauvin. Chauvin, I want to say, reacted out of hate. Noor reacted out of fear, which should not be the case with the police officer. You don't just turn around and shoot first and ask questions last. You don't do that. Young woman lost her life because she approached officers. And now he probably should not have been convicted of murder, because in that case it might have been just a react, turn around, boom, somebody's coming. You know what I'm saying? Somebody is approaching me. Not right of him to do, but definitely not premeditated. So it's not first degree, and I don't think it was done on purpose. Just from the reading, not stating an opinion or feeling. Just from the reading, doesn't sound like it was done on purpose necessarily. One could argue Derek Chauvin didn't kill George Floyd on purpose, but he purposely didn't get up.
Right.
So before anybody tries to get on me about that, he
He
purposely
purposely
did
didn't
not
get
get
up
up.
after he was informed by his peers that George Floyd's body was not moving. He still
Purposely
stayed on
did
it.
not get up.
So that's a whole nother issue.
Absolutely.
The type of force used is a very different issue. Again, I won't get into the legalities of it. I'm not an attorney. I don't claim to be. I am just a
You
black
play
man.
one on. You play one in some movies.
I played a cop.
Oh, my
Didn't
bad.
play
My
an
bad.
attorney. I played a
My
cop.
bad.
I just play cops on TV, not attorneys.
You
Not
should
yet.
play. You
Hopefully I
should
get
play
an
an
attorney
attorney.
role at some point.
You should play an attorney. Get a briefcase.
But it's one of those things where I do feel that legal precedent has been set. His legal team will grab at that straw, and they will try to get his sentence reduced. Don't know if it's going to work, but we have seen in this country where you are given a little bit and it's taken away. So, not saying that that's going to happen. I just know that historically, this doesn't end well.
No. No, it doesn't.
And now that there's a legal precedent involving a person of color, now it's how do you even that out?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it doesn't come to that. I'm expecting that it will.
We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. Stay tuned to Neutrals Radio for updates that we can give you, and any articles that we can post, any information that we find relevant that doesn't seem like propaganda. We will make sure that we give you that knowledge. So make sure you follow the Facebook page, the Neutrals Radio Facebook page, and so you can be up to date on that. Let's move on to our last topic, which I know for you hits home in a different way.
Yeah.
It hits home in a different way. It was a tragic, we want to say, accident on the set of Rust movie, which I believe it's starring Alec Baldwin. And I believe in this particular scene they were shooting, there was a prop gun, which to this point, I'm not sure whether they have determined if it was loaded with real bullets, if it was something that malfunctioned, if what the case may be. Maybe you may have heard something more since this happened, but an actor died because they were shot, or they were hurt.
It was a crew member.
Crew member. I'm sorry. It was crew member. I'm sorry. It was a crew member, not an actor. Yes, but go ahead.
Yeah, and working so closely, on a set, you work so closely with these crew members, and you really get to understand being a crew member is a huge sacrifice in the entertainment industry. It's very, very. I don't want to say it's unrewarding, but it's not the glamour job. You don't get, you're not recognized like the actors are. It's very, very thankless, so to speak, in some terms. But on the set of Rust, Helena Hutchins, who was the director of photography, she was killed when Alec Baldwin discharged one of the prop guns. From the early reporting, it did say that it was filled with blanks. So there's not a ton of detail as to how she was killed, but we do know that she was killed with one of the guns that discharged. It's just a very, very unfortunate experience. You get so close to these people, like I said, you get so close to these people on sets, and you see the sacrifices and the long hours that they put in, just the level of work that goes into what they do to make movies magical. So to see something like this tragedy is just it's really tough. You and I don't know if you saw it or not, but the IATSE TSE was about to strike, just in reference to a lot of the conditions that are going on. I do know that there was an agreement reached and they didn't strike, but their union, it's it's a lot of talk with what goes on out there that these crew members sacrifice a lot. And again, you have to see it to really understand it. But they sacrifice so much to make sure, and they're pressured to sacrifice a lot to make sure that these movies and these TV shows that we all love and enjoy come out the way that they come out. So again, it's a huge loss in the entertainment community, and it's a super unfortunate event that Helena Hutchins was killed on the set of Rust.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Prayers go out to her and her family, and and Alec Baldwin too, because he's the one that basically pulled the trigger and
Yeah,
unknowingly that caused someone's death. And he didn't wake up in the morning saying he was going to kill somebody. She didn't wake up that morning, knowing that she wasn't going to be going back to bed. Very, very unfortunate. And it kind of reminds me of the Brandon Lee death when he was shooting the Crow. Remember, he was shot by a gun that was supposed to have blanks in it. And,
right.
I wonder, and this is something I wanted to ask you when I saw the story on the news. I wanted to ask you, how easy is it to make that kind of mistake? And I'm not saying that we don't know what on Alec Baldwin said. We don't know whether this gun was loaded with real shells or anything like that. But it could have been a malfunction, all that. But how easy is it to make that mistake of not having the proper ammunition in a gun, in a prop gun?
It, I mean, it's
In your experience, you may not have dealt with props at all, so I don't know. But I'm just saying that it seems like the type of thing that, in the case of Brandon Lee, why would there be real bullets put into the gun? Could it be a thing where
so
the bullets that were sent to the set were actual bullets? Somebody mistakenly put a real ammunition in a package and send it to the set, or like how does that happen?
so it, blanks are literally just shells.
Right.
So you're not being hit with a bullet with gunpowder, but you are still being hit with a shell.
So something does come out.
Yes, there is a
Okay, so I
projectile.
thought it was just like kind of like the track and field gun, the starter gun. I thought it was kind of like that. So there's
No.
actually something coming out of the gun.
Well, so you could even starter guns, and I mean you could if there is something that comes out because there is a projectile from all of them.
Hmm.
If something comes out, you can get shot and you can get hurt. It's nothing where you can not be hurt by it. So they tell us on set. Most recently, I was on the set of We Own the City. I was playing an officer, and obviously, as an officer, we are fully uniformed. We are fully weaponed. We have weapons on our hip, just like police do. The blank bullets, and I don't even think our guns had bullets in them at that point. But
Hmm.
you can mistake a live round for a blank. There's no difference. You should be able to tell a little bit by the weight of it if you're used to holding actual bullets. But again, you can really get hurt by this, and it's. I don't want to go too long into the details of it, but blanks are almost as dangerous as regular bullets.
Man,
It's
well,
tough. It's a tough loss.
it's something to pay attention to. It's something that are aspiring actors and people that want to work on movie sets and movie directors and producers. Something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind going into the future.
Yeah.
Um, we wanted to talk about SEPTA, some things going on with SEPTA with sexual assaults, but we'll talk about that next time.
I think that's gonna
Along,
get pretty heavy, so we got to save that.
we gotta
That's gonna
save
get
that, and around, at the same time, you're talking about going on strike again.
yeah.
For people that don't know, SEPTA is the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transit Authority. It runs here in the Philadelphia area.
We can do a
Now,
whole SEPTA show.
we really could, we really could, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to have to do that another time. But with that being said, any last words, R. Dot?
Oh man! Again, congratulations to Kyle Harris on the acquisition of Paper Moon. Make sure you lock in, check out Paper Moon PHL on Instagram and Paper Moon Philly on the Facebook. Make sure you are following. Make sure you support small business. Make sure you support Black business. It is that time of the year where you need all of your party supplies: Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Make sure you check out Paper Moon Philly. It's going to be absolutely busy this time of year. Lock in.
Absolutely. My last word is I'm giving a congratulations to you. Surprise, I didn't tell you about this. Congratulations to you for winning your first championship as a coach.
I'm
Congratulations.
excited.
Very proud of you. I was very happy for you.
Appreciate it.
You already know I was watching on the app while I was at the volleyball game. I was rooting for y'all. I was like, y'all better not blow this game. Y'all better make this happen. I'm cussing at the app.
I got the poster right here.
Look at
Boom.
look at the
I keep
boys.
it close. I keep it close.
Look at the
Those kids,
boys.
super excited, man. Super excited to win that first one. Hopefully, it's the first of many.
Hopefully, it's the first of many. Hopefully, it's the first of many. With all that being said, thank you for listening to and checking out and watching the Intelligent Ignorance. We will talk to y'all next time right here on New Twist Radio. Stay locked, y'all.
Okay.